the show where we believe you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. We believe in physical, mental, intellectual, social, spiritual, and today's episode is going to be on your financial health. So if you're feeling a little broke, you're feeling the stress of inflation, we're going to teach you how to improve your saving, or maybe not even saving at all. We'll find out. If this is your first time watching Millionaires Are Made, this is a show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. We have 3 awesome guests today, and in the spirit of authenticity, I don't even get to know them or meet them until about 15 to 20 minutes before the show, and we don't talk about much about their tips. So that's all from them. It's all no bias, no persuasion. It's their own life journey and tips that they've come up with themselves, so you can learn from a wide variety of people. Audience, we love you. Thank you so much for watching this show. We love your comments and we love questions. If you do ask a question, we will answer it live right to you. We'll ask it on air and have our guests answer it ready to go. Huge shout out. We want to shout out some of our followers on Facebook. Ross McCamey, thank you so much. Instagram, True Crime, TikTok, Food Freedom with Libby, and YouTube, Frankie. Thank you guys so much for checking out our show and following us and helping us support. If you want to be a guest, we would love to have you. We are always looking for guests, and we believe, as aforementioned, that everyone has a tip to share. So if you want to get on and be on a podcast and share your tip and share your knowledge with the world, please sign up below. Links being dropped right now, www.millionairesaremade.com. Come be a guest. Come hang out, see what it's like. It's super fun. It's super easy, and you can help the whole world grow in knowledge. If you have something that you're struggling through right now, maybe it's your social health, maybe it's your spiritual health. If you have some sort of topic that we have not covered in a while, let us know. Drop a line and we will go ahead and find guests with expertise tips on that and do an entire show just for you. If you like what we do and who we are, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, whatever it is on whatever medium you're watching us. It definitely helps out way more than you think, and lets us keep doing the show and spreading more and more knowledge with everyone. And on that note, we do have some awesome sponsors I want to shout out. Elm Law Office, the #1 lawyer in Colorado for family and immigration law. The team at Elm Law is dedicated to delivering the highest quality legal representation in Colorado. Their mission is to be a champion for their clients, providing exceptional service and high intelligence while not navigating legal challenges with expertise and compassion. Our next sponsor, Healing Vocals Artist Management, led by Dr. Mary Anderson, fuses medicine and music to create a global impact. This is really, really cool. Check out this link below. She heals bodies and uplifts souls through medical missions as well as artist support. Kind of a cool, unique concept. We also are sponsored by Benjamin Terrell. Been thinking about your health. He offers nationwide PPO health insurance with the freedom to choose any doctor. It's kind of a cool, unique plan. If you're looking to change your insurance or tired of rates going up, check out Ben. It's ideal for healthy individuals and businesses. Cost-effective, tax-deductible plans that provide top-tier coverage. And our final sponsor for this episode is The True Leaders, a bi-monthly magazine edited by Olusegun Eluode, offering practical guidance, inspiring stories, and in-depth interviews for aspiring and current leaders. Available digitally for free and in print on Amazon, it emphasizes influence and driving positive change. Go check them out. Thank you so much. And let's not waste another moment and talk about saving in your financial health. My tip for saving is going to be something where you save without even knowing it. It's a little company called Acorns. You connect it to your credit card, and every time you spend like $4.79, it'll round up to that $5, so 21 cents. It'll take that and it'll save it for you. So you save without even knowing it. It actually invested as well, so you'll be growing even bigger and better without ever knowing it. Link is dropped below. I would check them out. Acorns has been around for a while. It's featured in Forbes and Business Insider and all the big publications. It's an easy way to save and an easy way to grow your money that you won't even notice until you look a year later and all of a sudden there's like $5,000 in your account that you didn't even realize you were spending or saving at all. Well, now that we're done with that tip, we're going to move on to our first guest here. Her name is Kim, Kimber, or Kimberly. We haven't decided yet, but let's learn more about her. Hey, Kimberly, who are you?
Hi, how's it going? I am Kimberly, and I have two sides. I have my real estate side, which I consult, collaborate, capital raise, and close. And I'm a nurse by trade. So, my second side, I'm a nursepreneur. I'm a CPR instructor. I'm a wellness coach. I run a ministry here in Southwest Michigan. I'm an author, a keynote speaker, and I'm a podcast host and a mama to two boys. So I'm a busy lady building an empire for generational wealth.
So when you were in high school and you went to your guidance counselor, did he just check off all the boxes for you and hand you back the paper?
Actually, no, I didn't finish high school. They
Oh
told me
my
two
God,
weeks.
well, that's the
Yeah, they
problem.
told me 2 weeks before I was going to graduate that I didn't have enough credits because I had moved and I didn't know. And so I got my GED and then went on to nursing school and landed a job at one of the best universities in the country, University of Michigan, as a medical assistant.
Go blue. Very cool. All right. All right, Kimber, let me ask you a very important question.
Yes.
If I wanted to improve my financial health with savings, what piece of advice would you give me?
Don't save, invest.
Oh man, what a great tip. Tell me why.
Investing, depending on what you invest in, I invest in real estate. Real estate gives you a tangible asset that you can have tax strategies for depreciation, appreciation, and passive income. So it's a vehicle and it's a tool to gain that generational wealth that you can hold. You can execute your exit strategies and pivot with purpose depending on what kind of season that you're in. And one thing that I did going through my transition from nursing to investing was I studied what the rich did. And one thing that I found in common with almost everybody that was a millionaire or a billionaire is they had real estate. So that's when I deep dived into real estate. But the first thing that I did was I invested in myself and the right mentorships. And you can't sell your $1 million dream to somebody that has a dollar store mindset. And so being around different mentorships and taking advice from people that are ahead of you is one of the most important strategies I think that you can do in this industry.
All right, so you were talking a lot backstage. We're going to tie this back into savings. I have a question for you. So we talked a little bit about sub two or seller finance and owner finance. So a lot of us out here that may be watching the show are saving for something special. Could be, a vacation, whatever it is. But let's just talk to those that are saving for their down payment for their house. Is there a way that you can obtain a house with no down payment? We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's different strategies out there that a lot of people don't know, and one of them is subject to. So if you can acquire it on sub two, so the title goes to you and the mortgage stays in the seller's name, and that's one way of acquiring it. Oftentimes you do have to have some kind of capital to get into the deal, but you can use OPM, otherwise known as other people's money. And depending on what your strategy is and how you're going to hold it or exit it, that's one way. There's land contracts where the title stays in the seller's name, but they have an equitable interest until it's paid off. So there are ways for people with 1099s or ITINs or people with bad credit and bumps and bruises. Maybe they're going through a divorce or a death. There are ways that you can connect with investors like myself, and we can help get you into houses if you're a homestead buyer with these kind of strategies.
Yeah, so a big thing about sub two seller finance owner finances versus traditional financing is A, you don't really have big banks or big loan companies, and B, you don't have as many regulations. So when an owner is financing or a seller is financing, you can negotiate the down payment. Maybe you pay a higher interest rate over the next 10 years or 30 years or however you negotiate it, but it turns it from this is how it must be done to way more flexibility between the person selling, either that has the mortgage and trying to get rid of it, and you, the two parties, and so you're obviously going to need to, if you want to go this route, learn a lot about it, get attorneys, find a title company that can take care of it. But if you're bad at saving, but you want a house, you may be paying more monthly or upfront, something like that, but you can get a house. You can negotiate a 0% down house if you want to, as long as other ways to negotiate. You can do a higher purchase price so they make more over the long term, or higher interest rate so they make more each month. Lots of ways to do it. But subject to is how I've bought probably my last 4 properties. It's amazing. It's how I've sold my properties. So I definitely very much support that. So if you suck at saving and you want a savings tip, don't save, negotiate, and go buy your house instead.
That part, and that's the beauty on it too, is that we don't have the regulations. We are the bank, and so we can usually find, if we trust you and you can prove to yourself and to us that you can make the payments, then we normally as investors can come up with or structure a solution and get people that are hardworking and have proof of concept into homes just because they're 1099s or they had, you know, bumps or bruises. And that's what's really cool about creative finance, is we can give people a chance at home ownership when other people can't.
Very true. Very true. Kimberly, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Very unique tip on savings. Super awesome. We're going to move on to our next guest. Her name is Megan. Megan, who are you?
Hey, I am Megan. I am a licensed financial professional with over 15 years of experience in building portfolios and growing and managing wealth for individuals. And I specialize in 6 and 7 figure female earners, and I take their money and I turn it into more money for them.
Oh man, what a fun job. Take money, turn it into more money. All right. Megan, if I wanted to improve my financial health with saving and not just buying houses 0% down, what piece of advice would you give me?
My best tip for saving is to create an awareness of where your money is and where it is currently going.
Ooh, where it is and where it's currently going. Very nice. Tell me more.
I love the conversation that you and Kimberly just had, and I 100% agree and would say if you are able to do that, go for it. But I think what I teach people to do even before getting to that step is taking that first step and creating your awareness of your own situation. Because where I see people fail, even if they do want to take more advanced steps like you and Kimberly were just speaking about, is they don't have an awareness of where they're at, what they're doing with their money, where their money currently is, or maybe where their areas of inefficiencies are. So I would tell people, you got to take a look, get real honest with yourself. You got to create some financial habits that are actually going to be able to propel you to the more advanced aspects of saving, whether you're doing that through hey, I'm literally putting these into investments, or I am going to do a more advanced strategy through, the real estate.
Nice. Yeah, definitely the strategy we just talked about is definitely advanced.
Yeah.
Saving is definitely a much easier way to do it. Where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
Saving was something that was always kind of hey, we do this. It's just a part of what we do. If you want something, you save your money. My parents had the means to give me lots of things in life, but they definitely did not do that. They said, hey, you want something, you're going to learn how to save for it and work for it and learn the value of it so that you respect what you're doing. So I will say pretty early on in my life, I was told you want something, you save for it. So I think I just inherently have done that throughout my life for various things, whether it was small when I was a child, and then, that obviously transitioned to larger things in my life. And I became more creative about ways to save as, things got bigger. But it's always been a part of my life. And now I'm actually passing that down to my own children. I've got a 10 and a 7-year-old, and they literally take finance classes and they save, and they've got to do certain things to create money in our household and then learn how to use it. And then they're only allowed to spend a certain amount and they have to save a certain amount. So.
All right, let's talk about that for the next little bit. So how do they create money for the household? What is a good tip you use for that?
Yeah, I put the responsibility on them. I made them come up with a list of chores that they thought they could do and that they could fulfill. And some people might think I'm crazy, but we actually signed contracts in our house at very early ages.
I love it.
Yeah. And so, for example, my 10-year-old, I said, you come up with a list of 5 things each week that you can do and that you think is fair. Then we'll sit down, discuss it. We write up this contract and say, here's what's going to happen when these things are completed. If they're not completed, here's what's going to happen. and we both sign it, we date it, and it is a withstanding like thing in our household. And so I want them to learn from a very young age, these are the things that we do, and this is how we handle our money, and this is how we grow it, and this is how we really will create everlasting wealth versus just a temporary, hey, I've got, $1,000 in my pocket.
That is awesome. Very cool. All right, Megan. Well, we'll bring you back out in the round robin section. We got to move on to our next guest. Hey, Jen. Who are you?
Hi. Hey, I am Jen Gray. I am a mom of 4 amazing kiddos. I'm over here in Atlanta. By day, I am an independent agent. I'm licensed in life and health, but what I love to do is specialize in helping entrepreneurs and business owners find innovative options. That's why I got contracted with all of the people, all the things, so that I can really come alongside and listen and find great options. And then my heart and my passion is actually my podcast. It's called Be Genuine with Jen. And I do believe our authenticity is our superpower. And I share that. I'm on a journey of rebuilding my life from divorce and from burning to ashes, and taking it one day at a time and building a life that we're proud to live. And so I just share very vulnerably, and have guests on that get to share, their stories of resiliency and tenacity. And so, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you're here for another reason. If you wanted to improve your financial health with savings, what piece of advice are you going to give me?
Absolutely. The first thing you have to do when talking about financial health and saving is to shift your mindset. When we think saving, we think you are taking my money away and you're withholding things that are fun and exciting and telling me not to go to Starbucks, every week. And that's our idea of what saving is. But when we flip our mindset to abundance and using our money to build something, that is ultimately what shifts everything for us.
Ooh, I like that. Can you tell me more?
I can tell you more. I think for me, I learned in my own life that when we have a vision, right, we get excited about it. When we know our why in life, that's what wakes us up every single day and pushes us forward. And so it's the same way with our finances. When we find something that we are moving towards, maybe it's even just generational wealth, and it's changing the trajectory of your family and saying, I will no longer live in this level. Like, I want to show my kids what's possible, right? I want to do something abundant with my life. When we shift that, then we're having something we're working towards. And so that's part of what I love, the practical side of insurance. Nobody wants to pay for insurance. I don't want to pay for insurance, right? So I love being able to cut people's monthly expenses by finding an innovative health insurance plan. I've got a lot of different options that aren't the norm. I love being able to find life insurance that actually can grow tax-free cash value. So it's not just shoving it aside and, sending it to your beneficiaries when you pass away. It's this different way of thinking of these insurances in our life, and then using that money to build a big vision. And so when we start with a big vision, then our why then creates the excitement to, I'm going to cut back so I can build something. And so that's where I start cutting on normal everyday expenses, building into the future that you want to build, and taking it one day at a time.
Were you referencing infinite banking just a moment ago?
I was, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I do. IUL is yeah.
This is a very advanced savings episode. We're getting to some really high level. We got sub 2s on here and infinite banking. Oh my gosh. All right. Last question real quick. We got a minute left. Where on your life journey did you learn all this?
Absolutely. So 2019 went through a huge life change. I lost community, job, family, or divorce, all the things. And I decided then I can either sit in a corner and cry about it, or I can build a life that I'm proud of. And that started with my entrepreneurial journey. And again, when you know better, you do better. And so when you get around different people and your mind is expanded to new levels, then you're like, the sky genuinely is the limit. And so I shifted everything. I don't come from a family that makes a lot of money. There wasn't a lot of great decisions made, but that's the beauty of our lives. We have today to shift all of it. It takes 24 hours to make significant change, I believe. So let's do it.
All right, cool. Well, this is perfect. We have a question for the audience, so we're going to bring everyone out and start our round robin section. So we'll bring Megan out and we'll bring Kimberly out. All right, guys, our first question, and I'm opening this to anyone. How do I track my expenses?
Honestly, it's basic. You sit down, and even if you have to manually do it, or you want to be more of the tech side, you get an Excel spreadsheet. You have got to sit there and list it out so that you know exactly where things are, how much they spend. I mean, it's not as complicated as people make it. It's literally listing out your life. Or another great exercise to do is you can take the last 3 months of your debit or credit card statements, and you can start combing through those, maybe highlight with different markers. Like green is like, hey, I have to, pay these expenses every single month and I can't get around them. Maybe yellow is more of my discretionary spending. This is really where I could cut back, make a difference. And then, maybe use a different color for something else. But you have to physically sit there and do the exercise. There is no way around it. And if someone tells you that there is, they're lying to you.
I have a way around it. I pay someone to do that for me.
Well, but that person is still listing out your expenses.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
For those of us that can't afford that, do any of you have a recommended app, like a budgeting app or expense app that you prefer, or website to make it more simple so it's easier for people to go do it? Hopefully free.
I use Rocket Money, and a lot of my clients use that as well. It costs, I think, like $10 a month. But the reason why I like it is because you can set limits on things, and it will tell you hey, you have a new expense that we don't recognize. This is not a reoccurring thing. So maybe it's not a utility bill, something like that. And you can set it to, hey, I'm spending an extra $100, or this is over the $100 value. So I want to be notified when I'm spending that amount. So it really makes you, again, it goes back to that awareness that I was speaking on. It really makes you aware of where your money is going and what you're spending it on.
Love it. Good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. We've got another one. Oh, here we go. What is a simple tip to start saving for those that suck at saving like me? Thanks, Mike.
This is honest, right?
Right. I was about to say, I love that. I'll share something. I think, again, sometimes we slow down to speed up. I don't know about you guys, but I like auto insurance. It's crazy. So I don't sell that. I just have to buy it. But shopping around, so many times we just get in our rut and we don't make changes. But when you're really looking and you understand the value of every dollar that goes into your account, so finding areas, right? And going through and looking, like Megan was just saying, you may be spending, right, where they say on apps, we're spending so much just extra discretionary money, but simply because we're not paying attention. So some of us may just need to stop and just evaluate, how much am I just auto drafting for my auto insurance? When is that renewal up? Let me shop around with a local broker that can, help me with that, And so other things that we have to spend money on, are there ways for us to connect with people that have access to ways that could cut our budget, those kind of expenses, just by doing a little bit of research.
Another thing you can do too, this is so overlooked by people, negotiate. Everything is negotiable. And I will tell you, do you know how much money? I don't even consider it saving. It's just money that I'm redirecting. I mean, at least every 6 months, I negotiate my interest rates with my credit cards. I negotiate my cable. I negotiate literally everything in my life. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you suck at saving, like this person is asking, then put another spin on it. Do it a different way. Technically, you're keeping money in your pocket. You're just doing it differently by negotiating how much you're actually putting out of your pocket.
Love that tip. I do that everywhere I go. I always use my nurse card. Do you have a nurse discount? And usually someone's like, my mom was a nurse or my aunt was a nurse. And they're like, here's 10, 20% off.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
I love it.
Nice. All right, we've got another question. How do I cut expenses, though?
Self-awareness, like what the ladies were saying, the self-awareness and taking an inventory on what you spend and looking through every day or weekly or whatever your strategy is and seeing exactly where that money is going, because it goes pretty quick. And sometimes, I'm not a coffee person, but I've coached people that do drink coffee, and when they actually start analyzing what they're spending money on, they're like,
The other thing too, though, is learn how to spend that's actually aligned with your values. You will cut your expenses drastically when you learn how to spend your money with what you're aligned with. Again, I talked about the exercise earlier that I walk through with clients sometimes is like looking at 3 months. So I'll ask them beforehand, what do you value in life? And they'll give me, oh, my family, going on 3 vacations a year, getting a second home. Then I very abruptly say, no, you don't. And sometimes that's what people need. They need the shock factor, right? Like, you don't value that because I just saw Uber Eats on your bill 20 times in the matter of 2 weeks. Or I just saw, 3 new pairs of shoes from Nike.com. You are not spending with how you actually are aligned. And so if you can learn to align your spending with your life goals, you're automatically going to cut the bullshit out of your life.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
I love
so many people spend money on liabilities and not assets, whether it's friendships or relationships, whatever. If it's a liability, it's a problem.
Yeah. Or just things, right? Like we spend money on things and not assets. And so if you're going to spend money on things, you're not going to build wealth. You're going to basically, to your point, Kimberly, create a liability, whether that's like a short or a long-term debt.
Yep.
Right. And I think, again, that's where it goes back to that mindset. If somebody said, I need you to find $500 tomorrow, and then I'm going to give you a check for $50,000. I don't think any one of us would not figure out how on earth to find $500, right? And if that was our mission, probably not going to Starbucks, right? Probably not going out to a fancy dinner tonight. Every penny then matters because it has a purpose. And again, when we look at it like that, and that's why I say it's almost like we have to go back to this internal something that excites us, right? And so if finding our why, finding what are we building towards. And if it doesn't excite you, I know sometimes, in like the network marketing field, people are like, I want to retire my husband. And they're like, okay, well, is that going to wake you up and like get you going, in the morning? It has to be something deeper and more personal. So find something more personal that you're actually saving for, you're actually wanting to build for. If it's that dream house that you want to raise your kids and have all your grandkids come home to, well, that's going to take sacrifice now. And so again, it's adding, maybe it's not even like a tangible thing. I'm not saying it's just stuff, but like getting down to that. And then, like you just said, cut the bullshit and just do it, right? Find out, like, it's just, sometimes we have to adult a little bit and just grow up and say, I want this more than I want this temporary pleasure. And I'm going to just make the sacrifice, just like fitness and all the other areas of our life.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. All the areas of your life. Yeah. I mean, just like you guys said, core values determine everything. So if your core value is, the fake it till you make it on social media, then you're going to keep faking it for the rest of your life with all these fancy dinners and trips that you're into debt, all that kind of stuff.
And who you surround yourself too around, like who you surround yourself, because if you have people that are spending money on ridiculous stuff, like you tend to follow the path of least resistance with that as well.
Oh yeah, I love being a cheap ass. That's 100%. And I love when my friends and I battle for who's the cheapest.
Right?
We'll walk all over Tokyo before we buy a bus ticket. Fuck that. All right, guys, we are at a partner show where we now have to come up with our daily challenge. Oh man, that's a good question, actually. Fuck. All right, we're gonna do this quick question, real quick. Can money really buy us happiness?
Yes. 1,000% yes. I talk about this all the time with people. Whoever tells you that money doesn't buy happiness, they're nuts. Money buys happiness on a daily basis. And I'll give you examples of that. Like, I have a lady who cleans my house. That buys me happiness, and it gives me back time with my children that then also is creating happiness. I have a lot of things that I spend money on like every month that bring me joy, because then it allows me time. So yes, money can buy you happiness. And I think people look at that in the wrong way. They're thinking like, can superficial things that are bought with money create me happiness? Probably not. Temporarily, momentarily, yes. But in the long run, no. But if you're spending money on things that truly give you back time so that you can then spend it with your family, your friends, or on your passion in general, yeah, money does buy happiness. And anybody that tells you that it doesn't, they're lying to you again.
Totally. And it buys you peace of mind, and it buys you sanity, and it buys you all of it. I mean, if we've all been there probably some season of our life where we didn't know where our next paycheck was coming from or how we were going to pay the bills. That is not a happy season of life. There's a whole lot of stress that's involved. So money is just energy, right? So bring on all the good energy so that we can live peaceful. We can live, with just this sanity. And so, yeah, I love that. I just echo everything you just said, Megan. It's awesome.
Agreed. Buying back your time is what you're essentially doing on what your core values are. Maybe that time is, like Megan said, in taking that time with her kids, or investing in yourself and your wealth. Or wealth is health, that kind of mindset. It just all depends on what you find important.
Yeah. Good.
I agree with that. All right, let's go. Now we are super late, but let's do it. Daily challenge: must take less than 5 minutes a day, must cost $0, and must be available to anyone in the world from Fiji to Kathmandu. What do you guys suggest?
Be aware.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, that costs you no money, and anybody can do it, and you can literally do it in 5 minutes a day.
Yes. Agreed.
What was it?
Being aware of like where you're spending your money and what you're doing with it.
Okay.
Replace doom scrolling with reading.
Ooh, yeah. Follow Kimberly on social media and see what she has to tell you. So I like knowing what you have. Any thoughts, Jen?
Yeah, I was going to say, start a gratitude journal, because you're grateful for what you have, but then also put in your dream journal of where you want to go. Again, it's shifting every single day to an abundance mindset is going to affect it's just like starting your morning off with a workout. It makes your lunch become more healthy because you don't want to get rid of the workout that you just worked really hard for at 5 a.m. So in that, if you're getting your mind set towards a big, abundant life, then I believe it affects every decision thereafter. So start with the end in mind every morning.
Yes, love that.
All right, so what should our daily challenge be?
Well, these powerhouses, like these women are like in this. I love when we can be featured like this, because these are such good nuggets that everyone can apply to their life at whatever season they're in, really. Yep.
Dream big and be present. That way you're dreaming big, but you're being present in the day so that you're making wise choices. You're analyzing what you're spending, where your money is being allocated. Trying to reframe what we've all said.
So let's see. So let's try to get some mindset in with some actionable. I like to leave something actionable so you can actually do something every day. So I like the thought of looking at what you're spending in the past and trying to know where your money goes, right? What did you say, Megan? You have to know where it comes from to know where it goes, something along those lines?
Yeah, to be able, you like know where you're at so you can direct it to where you want to go.
Good.
So maybe we do something with like look over an expense over the past week. So you're going to have to pull out your bank account, which is important. We should be going out and looking at our bank accounts or your credit card statement and find something there that you didn't actually need to spend money on. Maybe we just find one thing every day for the next 7 days over the past week or month that you honestly did not need to buy.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Okay. All right. Find one thing over past 30 days that you really didn't need to buy. And then how do we get that item into our mindset to go away? Tell me.
Yeah, I think to Jen's point, right? And we talked about it earlier, ask yourself, was that one thing that I didn't need to buy, was it aligned with what I actually value? Because then you're that's making you think, am I spending my money on things that I actually value and enjoy and are going to benefit me, versus just being kind of hey, I bought this thing or I spent the $20 on something I didn't need.
All right. I think that's a great one. So I kind of want to do the investing too, but I think we're going to keep this just on savings. So we're going to say, look at your past week, bank account, credit card, whatever you want. Find something that you did not did not actually need to spend money on. And then why was it not aligned with your core values?
Boom.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Good one.
All right. It's official now. It's posted. It's official. Nothing we can do anymore. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to wrap this show up, so I'm going to put you all backstage and tell everyone they're awesome. Say bye to our guests. What a great episode that was. Thank you all, audience. Love it. Thank you. What great questions you all had. Hopefully you all took something away. Thanks for watching Millionaires Are Made. Hopefully you guys are growing and learning, and we'll see you on the daily challenge here soon. We'll be posting every day.